Good afternoon, fret friends. Just fitting a quick one in before I go away. My wife and I are going away to Scotland tomorrow, and I've just got time to do one more before we leave. And wow, I've never had one of these in the workshop before. And I'm going to tell you, let me show you what it is. Gretsch, Chet Atkins, is it? Is it Chet Atkins? That's the bloke. Chet Atkins, Country Gentleman, the Chet Atkins Country Gentleman guitar. Cost you a pretty penny, these things. This belongs to a regular client. And he's been after one of these for a while. I know he's paid a lot of money for it, and he drove a long way to fetch it, but he's absolutely in love with it. He's bought it in just for a little bit of fettling. He says the pickups are quiet on the outside strings, which I can tell why, because the staggered screws on the pickups are arced too much, so too low down at the bass treble side and too high in the middle. So we're going to alter those. All sorts of gadgetry on here. They've got these dampers here which dampen your strings, and you pull them out of the way somehow. There you go. And then your strings are loose. Like that, gubbins. Don't know what all these switches do. There's extra switches everywhere. But I'm not really concerned with any of that. All the owner wants me to do is change the strings, clean it up, get it set up, get everything set right, and he wants me to change the spring in the tremolo because it says the tremolo sits too high. So we've gone for a shorter, smaller spring, which I'm going to do. It's going to be a really, really simple one. Can't see there being any problems with this one at all. Nothing to change on the nut because it does have a 0 fret, which is always good. Frets, he says, should be absolutely fine. I don't think it's going to need any frets leveling, especially with guitar of this ilk anyway, because your action is a little bit higher. Shouldn't need any fret leveling. We are just about 24 3/4 scale length. Well, that not straight edge fits anyway. Quite a lot of relief in there. I'm sure once I get the strings off, that neck will be absolutely straight and we can check the frets. So that's really what I'm going to do, is I'm going to alter the height of these screws on the pickups, just so we get a more even volume balance across all of the strings. I'm going to make sure that these rise up and down. It appears that they rise up and down by means of these screws on the outside. And that doesn't appear to be the case because that's just sat there, the screws coming out. So maybe that's as high as it can go. Okay, well, we're going to alter the volume on the screws then. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust some of these screws. Probably easier with the strings loose. So I'm going to crack on with that. Get the dampers off. I'm going to plug it in, listen to what I think the pickups are like. I'm going to set all these a little bit more level in line with the actual radius of the board. I'm going to get the strings off, we're going to check the frets. If the frets are alright, we're going to polish the frets, we're going to clean the fingerboard, we're going to put some new strings on and set it up, and that will be it. Nice, easy one. I've just had the guitar plugged into my PB Classic 30 valve amp, and it sounds and plays beautiful. There is not much adjustment with the height of the pickups. They're more or less where they are is where they are, and you alter these adjustment pole pieces on the pickup. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to lower the arc on the radius here because the radius is far too much. So that's the way I'm going to do that. So I'm going to remove these strings, remove a tremolo arm, get the new spring in there. We're going to get the neck dead straight, and we are going to check the frets. I'm hoping it doesn't need a fret level, because if it does need a fret level, I can't do it today because I'm going to Scotland tomorrow. I'm hoping it doesn't need any frets touching at all. If they are really, really tiny but a little bit out, I'm going to leave them. Because the thing is with these, your action is high enough over that first fret for it to not bother you, and you're high enough at the bridge end. But we'll see where we are shortly. Things with these is setting up the tremolo. The strings are going to take a fair bit of stretching, but once they are stretched in, that tremolo will be as stable as anything. Well, stable as it can be. I like these tuners on this. I've got very, very similar tuners on a Korean-made Tanglewood acoustic I've got upstairs with a little pick up and play, my little beta guitar. So I'm just going to measure the strings on this. I'd imagine we are, you'd have thought something like 1149, but I'm thinking they're probably 1046. You normally find fatter strings on these. Come with a case, by the way, Gretsch case. I know what they only pay for this, I paid a substantial amount for this guitar, it's not a cheap guitar. The actual model number is, I've got all the paperwork here, I didn't show you the paperwork, did I? One of the gubbins is here with this, it's a massive £5 note, it's not £5 note, it's a Gretsch guitar guarantee. There's that gubbins there, all authenticated. It's the G6122-1962. Serial number is an 09 serial number. Key original sales receipt is proof of purchase. Full details on Gretsch warranty. Please see include warranty information card. There's all sorts of gubbins inside here. It's very well looks after the guitar. There's the registration card with a date on there. 7/08/09, is it? Or 28th of the 7th, so it's 28th of July 2009. The new Gretsch Neoclassic fingerboard, the Neoclassic store, centuries ago, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, half moons, yeah I can see them. That's a new Gretsch Neoclassic fingerboard, gubbins, they're not going to read it out. New Gretsch Filtertron, that's the pickups, filter out hum, neon noises, crackle, electrical disturbances. There you go, introducing the new Gretsch Filtertron pickups here. Right, control E and F, oh it tells you what controls are, right, control C and D, these two. Up here. Should I tell you what they are? Not in as many words. They're a head selector switch, so you've got, okay. Well, you've got 2 selections, 3 selections. Okay, let's see what it's saying. 1, 2 and 3. They're a tone colour switch or a tone colour switch, head selector switch. Volume control for head B, which is bridge. That is this volume control. Volume control for head A, which is this, which is neck. Okay. Head selector switch. So 1, 2, 3. So that's D. 1 in the middle. This one. 2 is up. 3 is down. Tone colour selector switch. 1, 2, 3. Don't know why you can't have it 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, but it's the way they do it. Position 1 puts both heads A and B in operation. This is it with Filtertron pickups. Position 1. Oh, the head selector D, which is this. That's both pickups, right? Centre left and right, numbered 1, 2 and 3 on the diagram. For position 1 puts both heads A and B in operation. Position 2 only the fingerboard head A. And 3 only the bridge. Right, you'll hear these 3 positions as follows. Note, leave tone colour switch C in neutral position 1. 1 gives a full range blend of 2 plain heads. Position 2 gives a rich normal guitar sound with deep resonance, sound used in progressive jazz groups. Position 3 gives sparkling brewing highs, sound off times in country western music, banjo effects, etc. The tone colour switch is 3 positions. Or position 1 normal range for natural tone. 2 deep bass, natural shading, blah blah blah. So 1, 2 and 3. And 3 medium tonal shading, emphasise light, reduce the sharpness of natural tone. Blah 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 blah. Well, there you go, volume controls. What's this one do then? I'd say that's a master volume there. Master volume control, that's exactly what it is. So I got one bit right. Well, there you go, that's the white gubbins here. And you get your Gretsch guitar guide. And will there be tips in there on setting up, finish checking, truss rod adjustment, adjustment of action, pickup adjustment. Well, you get a little setup thing in there, look. Blah blah blah, blah blah blah, fitting, blah 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 blah, 2 machines. Changing strings. The fresh set of strings can breathe new life into your instrument. That's why many tone-conscious touring professionals change the strings before every performance. There's no set rule allowed to offer to change the strings, blah blah blah. Restringing your guitar with a fixed tail piece now, it's not fixed. With a floating bridge, change the strings one at a time only. I'm going to check the frets if we do that. I'm not checking them one at a time. I'm going to check them, I'm going to take all of them off and put all of them back on. Shows you how to wrap your strings around there to give them a good lock. Bigsby, the Bigsby vibrato tailpiece. You know all about that. Restring of the Bigsby vibrato. Crimp the string at 45-degree angle. Yeah, I know how to do that. Know how to do that. Know how to do that. So yeah, truss rod adjustment. Oh, it is a barrel adjuster. That's good. That means we need a socket type affair, not an Allen wrench. Pickup adjustment. Each hylatron has one set of 6 adjustable screw pole pieces. Each filtron head has 2 sets of 6 adjustable separate adjustment screws. The purpose of these adjusting screws to enable the player to adjust the tonal balance of the guitar for personal taste. Note factory's preset adjustment screws to give the best overall performance for the majority of guitarists. However, there are players who require a specific type of balance to fit their individual style of playing. By raising or lowering the pole piece with a small screwdriver, volume of each string can be increased or decreased to suit your particular needs. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to definitely bring the treble side a little bit higher. Space control bridge assembler. Is that what we have? No. Travelling wheel guitar, servicing your guitar. I think servicing guitar just says take it if it crawled, a fret friend. Basic controls guideline. No. Okay. There you go. Some useful information in there. I'm not going to need any of it. I'm going to put that back in the envelope. Very nice to get that. So I'm going to remove the strings. I'm going to set pole pieces a little bit flatter. There's far too much radius on there for me. We're going to remove the strings first. Not a great deal to do on this guitar. I'm going to check the gauge of the, I just said I was going to check the gauge of the strings, didn't I? This one feels quite fat. But I wonder if these are 1052s. It would have been more in line with what I'm thinking a jazz guitarist will be playing. More in line with what I thought would have been on this guitar, big heavy duty guitar like this. It is a big guitar. So, we 1046 to 1052. That's a 40, is that 48? Let's say the 48. Zero that out. 46. 1046. It's exactly a 46. 46. 1046, got a 1046 set on there. There you go, that's what we're going to be going with. So that's nice and simple. These aren't too bad, but we'll stick a new set on there. I'm not going to rush to get this finished today. I'm going to get the strings off, check the frets. Once the frets are checked, I'm going to put it away until I get back from Scotland. No point rushing. It's getting on towards time we're at. Just gone 4 PM in the afternoon. I've got a lot of ironing to do for tomorrow, get the clothes ready, a bit more washing to do, get myself ready, have a bath. I'll prepare. I've got an 8 o'clock in the morning, then I'm driving up to Scotland. So there's no point in rushing the guitar. Oh, the nut is loose. The nut is not glued in, I did not know that. That's a surprise. I know it's only a guide, but I'd have thought that'd be glued in. That's a bit crap. Okay, if that's how Gretsch do it, that's how Gretsch do it. I'm surprised at that. Andy loves his Gretsch guitars. I refretted one for him recently, a 1957. Is it Gretsch? No, it's a Hofner, I don't know. 1957 President model. So that is, it's a nice piece of bone. It is not glued in. A surprise. It doesn't need to be glued in, but I thought I'd like to see it glued in. I might put a little bit of some kind of putty on there, something, or even some double-sided sticky tape just to hold it in place. I'll have it just loose like that. I don't like it loose like that. There's all the strings off. You know, with the Bigsby top feet, just bend them round and nip them off 45 degrees, nip them round. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's what you do with these strings. You bend them over like that so they grip onto the Bigsby there. So what I'm going to do is, before I knock off, I'm just going to check these frets. See how they are. I hope I don't need a fret level. I hate that. Shouldn't need one on a guitar that costs this much. Bin these, have them in the bin. As a total side swipe, I'm not looking forward to my tea tonight. My wife has said I'm going to make tea out of what we've got left in the fridge so we don't leave anything in the fridge while we're away. So I'm not looking forward to that because my wife buys a load of lettuce. So we've got loads of lettuces in the fridge. Not for me, I'm not a lettuce person, as you can probably tell. Okay. That is just, it was a tiny bit of back bow in there with the strings now off. So I'm just going to remove the truss rod cover. We're going to get an adjuster on there. We're just going to slacken that truss rod off just a little bit, just to get our back bow so we've got the neck dead straight and we can check the frets. And I really don't want it to be any high frets on here. I want it to be a nice easy job, nice 60 quid job. Just a bit of a fret polish, a bit of oil on fingerboard, some new strings on, set up the tremolo, put a new spring on the tremolo, job's a good one. That's what I'm hoping for. So a nice little adjuster on there, looks to be a Gibson size, about 8mm or 1/3 of an inch. Let's go with a Gibson first. That should be a Gibson size, the black one. And that's not big enough. Okay. Maybe Gretsch have sent their own. What have we got here? I've already got the biggest ones I have, a Gibson. Oh, that one works. The black one wasn't the right size. So this one was just a Gibson size, 8mm. So I've slackened the truss rod more or less right off to give it a little nip back up there. So it's just nipped up off loose. Still not quite straight, we'll give it a few seconds to settle. Probably straight enough just to check the level of the frets. And that is as loose as it'll be, so we have a completely loose truss rod there. Just going to nip it up, that's nipped. That should be just about straight now. And I think we're just about there. There's a tiny bit of gap that side. We're fine everywhere else, so we're calling that straight. So not straight edge, not straight edge, a fret rocker. Just going to give it a quick check along the length. And just pray that these frets are fine. I'm sure they will be. Normally get one in the first 2 or 3 needs work, and we haven't. I have one high fret there. Okay, 1, 2, fret 5. That's good because it means I can probably spot level this. Just in that area, and that is quite a rocker there. So we are going to have to level that. So we are going to give some kind of fret level. I'm going to charge this on a per fret basis, I think. If there's not too many. Okay, we have 2. We'll see. Won't need a lot of work. Okay, now we get into the nitty-gritty. We've got 3, that's in 2 places. So we are going to need some kind of fret leveling. That really is a shame. £3,500 guitar, and you've got to toss about with frets. No, it's not a brand new guitar. I have bought it used. It is 12 years old, so I suppose we can forgive the guitar that. I think we're going to go. There's the fifth one. So 5 frets. If it's not any more, we can get this all in under an intensive setup. A little bit extra for a tremolo setup, so you're going to be looking at 90 quid. It's a shame, I was hoping it was coming in under a nice £50 setup, 10 for tremolo. It's going to be £80 for an intensive setup, £10 for tremolo, 90 and 5 for strings, 95 quid. And he'll pay it, he'll have no problem with paying it. He's already paid £2 grand for the guitar, so he's not going to worry about another 90 quid on top for a good setup. So we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 high frets, which gets us in for an intensive setup. I always do up to 5 frets in an intensive setup, any more than 5. But the problem with being more, if it's more than 5, the problem is if I alter this 1 fret, it's going to alter the relationship with the 2 next to it either side. You see, because here, that's high there. I'm going to remove material there. It's going to then alter the relationship with these 2, with those, and those 2 that side. So if I remove material from there, it's possible that these 2 could show high. So once I get to 5, I can't spot level them that way. I'm going to level the whole lot. Again, with this having a 0 fret, makes it more difficult again. But yeah, 5. We've got 5. So let's go across the frets that are rocking. 1, 2, 3, same fret, 4, and this one 5. So they're all going to need work. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frets. I'm going to let Andy know. I'm not going to work on it today. I will, however, put the truss rod cover back on rather than leave it loose and have to put it in a bag and put it away and this, that and the other. I may as well just get it back on. But I'm not going to be working on this till I come back from Scotland. So let's do that with it. So I'll let Andy know he needs an intensive setup. I always charge extra for setting up a tremolo because you have to stretch the strings in more. There's a lot of balancing and counterbalancing to do to get it right. Regarding the nut, I'm going to put a strip of double-sided sticky tape in that slot, just so it doesn't rock or slip left and right. It'll stay there, but if we need to remove it, it's just a quick peel-off job. Really easy. So that's really good. I'm going to put this away till I get back from Scotland. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to see how we, there you go, changing that spring could not be easier. I'm going to just do that. I'll put the smaller spring on, so let's just check with the smaller spring. I had one of these type of tremolos on an Explorer years ago, a Honda Explorer. I had a Honda 2 Explorer, which I went on tour. I recorded an album with it and went on tour with it in the 80s. 1980, 87 was it? That's a smaller spring. It means the tremolo is going to be down quite a bit lower. Probably going to sit there. Don't see if it's going to make that much of a difference. Or is it? Oh, it's definitely going to make a difference. So that sits way high. Okay, so that is going to make a difference. That's good. It's good to know. GTK, good to know. Yeah, that's a lot lower. I see what Andy was on about now. So okay, let's put this away in the bag. It's going to sit there. That'll make the difference you want. And what I can easily do now is, before I do put it away, is I can set these pick up lights. Now, when I had it plugged in, the bass side didn't sound too quiet to me. It sounded pretty much okay. But what I am going to do is, I'm going to bring the treble side up. Like so. Bring the mids down just half a turn or a quarter turn. Do a quarter turn on the D string, and I'm going to bring the bass up just a quarter. And I think I should see it's about right. I'm going to come up a little bit more on the treble. Same this side. Give a good 3/4 turn on the treble side. Down a little bit on the G. Quarter turn on the D. Half a turn up on the E. And that's a little bit more uniform to me. I think that will give us a balance we're looking for, somewhere around there. We do have, we have a floating bridge. Right, I do need to tape up where this goes. I wasn't checking that. Okay, that's there. It's really, really easy. I've fortunately enough got a piece of tape just here. Just to give us a marker to show us where the bridge more or less needs to go for intonation purposes. So let's just go there. Yep, there and there. Very good. Regarding the position that way. Doesn't matter, we'll get it central anyway, but this just gives me a marker for when we put it back together later. I'm not going to get a piece under the pick guard, but I will get a piece just here to bring it up to. So that's more or less where we are. Pretty good. Gives us a very close idea of where we need to be. Pretty much spot on there. And that's off. And now we know where we need to position the bridge. I'm wondering, do you like the idea about flapping about? Should I remove it? No, I won't remove it because it's going to go back in the case. But what I am going to do is tape the Bigsby to the pick guard there, just so it doesn't flap about and get lost. And we can put the nut and the bridge together with the springs. Put that back in the case, and there you go. Then we're going to put this away for a short time. Just checking these pole pieces. That looks quite a lot better. Then we do a little bit of fettling just round here. You can just see that the A string probably needs to go in a bit. The D string. That looks pretty good now. Quite happy with how that looks. Sure, this will give us a much better balance. Yeah, quite liking that. So there you go. So I'm going to put this away till I come back from Scotland. I could have done it now, but with fret leather and everything, it means I'll be rushing it to get it done tonight. I don't want to do that. I've got much to do. I'm going to just double mark these frets. I'm going to mark on the. I'm not going to mark on the binding. I could grab some tape. In fact, even better, I'm going to write down what frets need work. So we're going to 5, 10, 11, 13, 16. 5, 10, 11, 13, 16. There you go. Got that written down. So I'm going to put this back in the case. I'm going to put it away till I get back from Scotland. Because it needs more work than I thought. If it didn't need any fret levelling, I would have done it now. I'd got it done within the next hour, hour and a half. And that would have been fantastic. But because it needs the fret levelling, the frets levelling, we're going to do this one when I get back from Scotland. So, see you when I get back. Welcome back, friends. We are just after 6 AM. One fine morning, Monday morning. And it's the way I'm having to work right now. Because I haven't got time to get anything done after work for Royal Mail. So I'm working before I go to work, and I'm really going to cut back how I work this job. I'll explain more about that later, but let's crack on with this guitar. So I've already leveled 5 of the frets. There's one more to do, this one here. And I wasn't going to film anything more on this because I just don't have time, but I'm going to, just for reference. So the 5 I've done are this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. I've actually done 6. This will be the 7th. Now I do include 5 frets on a intensive setup. I'm going to charge for the extra 2. The reason we've got an extra 2 frets to level is when I remove material from one, so this one for instance, it will affect these 2 frets either side. So if I remove material there, because it's high, these may then alter slightly in their relationship to that one. And that's what's happened. So we're just going to check this last one here, that's what I'm doing. Because I removed material from that side, it's high on that edge. High in the middle, high on that edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my flat file, Swiss made by Valorg. It's a number 4 cut, really smooth but really sharp. And this is basically, it's called spot levelling. We're just going in one direction. We're not levelling the frets all this way because then we'd have to do the lot. We're just levelling one and we're going to keep checking. Really careful with this. There we go, nice and steady. Concentrating on following the radius. Because we don't want to go too low. Still high on the far side, high in the middle. Just about level on the near side. So again, just following the radius. Nice and steady. I need to be concentrating more on the middle and the far side, so we're just going to nice and steady there. Still in the middle, but we're good near side, so just a little bit in the middle now. We're not going to get exact precision as we would if we levelled them all that way with a flat beam. But we're going to get extremely close and it's not going to affect anything all over the place. Go a little bit high. And I say we're not going to get extreme level, we're going to get within 99%. So, certainly good enough. Spot levelling is a quick way. Now you see that we've levelled the top of the fret. We're now going to rebuild that crown because that way, in that direction, we flatten the top. We're going to need to rebuild that crown, which I'm going to do in a second. That's that done. So we're going to check the one next to it. This one's now high on this side, so we're going to. That's a little bit high in the middle. So again, filing this one has affected that one. We're talking very tiny amounts. The way I'm going to set the action on this anyway, it's not going to make that much, it's not going to make any difference. You're going to be able to play the guitar fine. So I'm going to set this with a slightly higher action than my standard. But there you go, then we go to the next one, and that one's level, go back one, and that's level. So these 2 frets are now level. So we've now got all of the frets level, so we're going to rebuild that crown. I'm using my Stumac Z file. Closest to you it has a long shallow cut, and the closest to me a short deep cut. Turn it 180 degrees, the opposite. Long, narrow, not steep, which was shallow should I say, and short but steep cut. So what this does is you can rebuild the crown both sides at different degrees each side, and we'll flip it 1 or 2 degrees, it'll do the opposite, but it will not touch the top of the fret. So we're going to rebuild that crown both sides. So 180 degrees. It's a diamond file, so it cuts really well. We're going to just clean it up. Clean the file, move to the next one. Flip it 180 degrees, same again. File away, come back to my profiling file, which will remove any inconsistencies. A diamond file again, but this one has already got the crown built in, and we're just going to straighten up any flaws we may have left in there. There won't be any, but it just cleans it up. Angling it so I can just remove any inconsistencies, any unevenness, and that's it. We should find that all of the frets are now level if I've done my job right. I'm sure I'm just going to scoot across the fret rocker, just see where we are. I've marked off all of the frets I've worked on. So I'm going to polish all the frets anyway. But the frets are now level. I'm going to charge it for an intensive setup on this. Very good. And we have all of the frets now level, so we'll move on to the next stage. We're going to get the frets polished up, we're going to treat the fingerboard. Once that's done, we can get some strings on, get the new spring in the tremolo, and get the guitar set up. There we are, guys, we are all done, and the guitar is affectionately known as the Chet Atkins Country Gentleman. It's a Gretsch guitar. I did know the number of it, I forgot it again. It's not important. Does it say on the back? No, it's got a serial number. Anyway, it's made in Japan. There you go. A big old cumbersome thing. It's not heavy, beautifully constructed, very nice looking guitar. And I'll try and recollect what I've done to it. Well, what we've done is I've levelled off the pickup screws to give more of an even balance on the volume. I've levelled about 9 frets, so more than I should have done on what I charged, but that's okay. We're giving it a great setup. I've put a lower spring in the tremolo, so the tremolo arm's a little bit lower down. Restrung with some Diodario 1046s, and it's a beautiful, beautiful looking thing. It holds tune, it's nice to play. Really, really nice piece of kit. Not my thing, but Andy likes it. That's why Andy bought it, and it's all ready to go. It's ready to come and collect it, so we're going to get it packed away, and he can have it back. So all remains for me to do right now is to remind you of my website, fretfriend.co.uk. Even better, Facebook, facebook.com/ng17. That's facebook.com/NGONESEVEN. I am Victor, I am your fret friend, and until the next time, as always, God bless you, be good to each other, and I'll see you in the next one.